we know that there is a restriction to look at a lady that dress not modest. Even for 2 or 3 seconds, it's already a sin. If it happens, if a person walks in the street and something by surprise catches his eyes, the first second, it's not a sin. But if he continue to stare, the sin begins. And it's a sin that goes every second. 1, 2, 3. It's a one long sin. The longer, the worse it gets. If a person closes his eyes or take off his glasses that he cannot see or turn the head, not only it's not a sin, he gets a huge reward for it. This is, by the way, will be the time to request from Hashem something that you really need. Because when a person passes the hard test, Mishamayim, Hashem has more sympathy towards him. So, if that's the case, and you're not allowed to look at not modest girls, how there is any permission to go to university, which is men and women, boys and girls, and the secular girls there in university are very far from being modest. Some of them are Jewish, some of them are not Jewish. So the question is it allowed to sit in a class 4 or 5 years? When you walk in the hallways, everywhere you go, it's naked people? Allowed or not allowed? So the judgment, the law of university is exactly the same law of walking on the street. To walk on the street, it's allowed or not allowed? Allowed. You have to be strong. What happens if you fail? Eliminate walking on the street as much as you can. But if you have to walk somewhere, and you fail, you have to do tshuva, like every other sin. You have to do tshuva and move on. What about a picture of a woman on social media or in album, like wedding? You know, sometimes they have wedding pictures. You look at families, you see women in the pictures. Allowed to look at women in pictures or no? The answer is not allowed. Just like you're not allowed to look at clothing of women hanging on the rope. Today, you have dryers. But until 20 years ago, at least in Israel, people would hang the clothes outside in a terrace. So the neighbors can see, and they can see all kinds of clothes of women. It's also not allowed. The Gemara says not allowed because it can bring a man all kinds of thoughts. What about family albums of weddings? If that's the case, no man would be able to ever look at it because it's always going to be women. The answer is you have to make an album for men and an album for women. In one album you put pictures of women, it's for women, and one album you put pictures of men, it's for the men. I know you're laughing because probably nobody does it, or maybe the Hasidim do it, I don't know. But that's really... Huh? It's a big problem to look at the Kala. She's a woman. She's not an angel. She's still a woman. Big problem. The Torah does not give permission to look at women that are not... Huh? No, your family you're allowed to look. You can look at your daughter, your grandmother, your mother, your sister. Yeah, if more people... Yeah, best not to look at albums. What do you need to look at someone's wedding's album and to see all the not modest women there? You know, in every wedding, there's always going to be some ladies that are not modest, even if it's a very religious wedding. There's always relatives that are not so religious or very modern. You know, I one time went to a wedding of a Baalei Tshuva of mine, and they made mixed seating. Not mixed dancing, of course. Dancing was kosher. Mixed seating. They counted on the psak of Rav Moshe Feinstein that allow it, Bishat Adchak, if it's going to create fights in the family. Thinking when you go to a kosher restaurant, you also have mixed seating. A man and his wife sitting here, another man and his wife sitting here, a bunch of girls sitting here, a bunch of guys sitting here. It's more or less the same idea. But that's when I realized that it's completely not the same. Why? Because in a wedding, you have round tables. And if you want to go somewhere, you have to go in between the tables. You have either going from the right or from the left. And when you have a wedding of 500 people, when half of them are not religious, people from the business, even some of them are not Jewish. So there will be maybe 200 not modest women walking around. So anywhere you want to go to the dance floor of the men, you have to go through the tables. It was a disaster. I say, Bli Neder Bezrat Hashem, never to go to a mixed seating, only to a complete separate seating and separate dancing, which is a disaster. It's mamash a disaster. In my class, the teacher wants to show us a not modest movie, like documentary, but you see there are women that are not modest. If I leave the room, the teacher will get insulted. What should I do? What should I do? Should I stay and watch it, not to insult the teacher? Should I stay and close my eyes the entire hour? Should I get up and leave? The class. It's someone that is religious in probably a public school. He asked the question. So, they're showing him a film that is not modest. The answer is to go out wisely, like pretend you have to go to the bathroom or something like that.